Good morning, YouTube. I feel like Robin Williams on Good Morning Vietnam. Oh, I'm so tired. Anyway, I just did a video on my Wii games, and now I'm moving on to PlayStation 2. So, this stack is a little bit longer than the rest of them. Longer. It's a little taller than the rest of them. So, let's get right to it. One of my favorite TV shows, well, it is my favorite TV show. I can't say one of my favorite. It is my ultimate favorite TV show. But my husband happened to see it in a store, and GameStop, I believe, and he picked it up for me because I was having a really bad week, and he just thought this would cheer me up. So he picked me up Crime Scene Investigation. 3 Dimensions of Murder. This is awesome. I played it on the PC, and because I had it for my computer, and I gotta tell you that from playing it on my computer to playing it on the PS2, there really wasn't much difference, except I was playing on a much bigger screen on my PS2, and the controls obviously were a lot different. But the graphics seemed to be about the same. Like, I didn't notice anything really different in the graphics. You can kind of see on this some of the graphics. But this is pretty cool. I mean, you know, you're a CSI, you work in the grave shift, and, you know, the graveyard shift, and you work alongside with, you know, some of the other well-known CSIs from the show, and you go out and you investigate crime scenes, and you collect evidence, and then you analyze it. You go to the lab, you go to the morgue, and all kinds of great stuff. Definitely a must-have for any CSI fan. And if you haven't played any of the CSI games, you really should. I think they've got a few more out. There's one for the PS3 that I want. But yeah, great game. This is one of my favorite games that we own, just because it's so fun. The Simpsons Road Rage. How could you not have The Simpsons Road Rage? I mean, if you have a PS2, you should have this game. Like, they should have gave this game away with it. This is another one of those games that, like, you never would have thought you would have liked, but it's so freaking awesome. You know, the graphics kind of suck. But it's Simpsons, and it's awesome by default. Yeah, great game. Awesome game. When I bought my PS2, it came bundled with Guitar Hero 2. That's how long I've had my PS2 system. It's the Slim, the little itty bitty. It's like no bigger than, it's like the size of this. But it had Guitar Hero 2 with it, and I really wanted to play this, and that's why I bought the bundle. I got the, you know, guitar and the game and the system, and I hated this game after like 2 days. It was like, I can't do this anymore. I just didn't have the hand-eye coordination for it. My niece could just like blaze through every song and get like excellent scores. But I don't have a guitar anymore, so if anybody has a guitar they want to get rid of for the PS2, I'd like to play that again. This was $1.99 at GameStop, and somebody said that it was a really good game, so it was like one of those, it's $2. If it sucks, then, well, it was $2. So I picked it up. It's actually in my system right now. But I picked it up, and I don't know. Again, one of my favorite games, franchises to play, 007. This is Agent Under Fire. This is a great game. Great game. I got it for $5.99 from GameStop. I don't condone going to GameStop and buying games. Like, I don't typically go to GameStop to buy games. I'm not like walking into GameStop and just being like, oh, let's, you know, shop again. No, I don't. Ever since Black Ops 2, I've not been shopping in a GameStop. But there are some instances where you do find really good games for a reasonable price. In that case, then, yeah, I'm going to buy it. So if I walked into a GameStop just to kind of see what was happening, what the new games were and stuff, and I happen to look at, like PS3 games, and I see a game that I, would like to try that it's, priced reasonable, I will pick it up. But I won't pay more than $20 for anything that I get in there. I refuse to, and that's like $20 for like multiple items. So unless I can get like 4 or 5 games for $20, I'm not really gonna buy anything there. I'd rather just order it online. But this was $5.99, so this was a good deal. And I actually, after I bought this, had seen this game at like Walmart, and it was like $20. So I was like, okay. Good game, great game, terrible graphics. PS2 graphics, as you would expect, they just aren't really up to what we're used to. Next gens. Well, now we're into the new gen, so. But we're into the PS3, from the PS2 to the PS3. This was a game that I had on my computer. I actually played this on my computer quite a lot. This was a game that I fell in love with. Problem is, I do not have a manual for this, and I would love a manual for this, but finding one is, like, virtually impossible. This ain't even the case that it belongs in. This is, like, the case that it was in at the movie store that I worked at. And the movie store that I worked at, they were throwing away a bunch of video games, and this happened to be one of them, and I, like, everybody else had already picked everything out that they wanted, and I saw this in the box, and I'm like, yo! Good game. Good game. Great game. Love this game. This is like one of my all-time favorite games right here. Oddly enough, this really is. It's a great game. One of my husband's picks, he got NHL 2K8, $6.99. It's got all like playing Blades of Steel on the Nintendo. The graphics are okay. As far as sports game. And then he got NHL 2K3, which he's played numerous times. He really likes these sports games. I personally. But this was 99 cents for that. 99 cents at GameStop. Yeah, probably throwing that fucking thing out now. This game was $2.99, but my husband wanted it. And the graphics from this to Madden 13, as you see, I have it on my PS3, Madden 13. Madden's come a long way. But again, I don't play the sports games because they're just not my thing. Okay, so this is my stack of my absolute favorite games. I fell in love with these games when I played the first one on my computer. And you have to remember, I didn't have a game system for a long, long, long time. And my game system was my computer. So I actually, I've actually seen YouTube videos of other gamers that are like, you can buy a, next gen console and not get the same, experience from your gaming as you can get from your computer, and I totally agree with that. If you play on your computer, there's so much that a computer can do that a console just can't. And, graphic-wise and gameplay-wise, computers are far superior to any console. But, of course, with everybody going to game consoles and wanting to play on, larger TVs and, things like that, it's kind of nice that, I can have duplicates of all my games, and I have them for, like my CSI game, I have that for my computer. And I have another CSI game for my computer, and I have these games for my computer. And it's kind of nice that they, that they do that. But because I like this game so much on my computer, I decided I would buy it for the PS2 because, like I said at the time, that was the only console that I had. And I gotta say, I love it. I love this game. And the game is Need for Speed Underground 2. I don't know, like, I played the first Need for Speed. And if you played the first Need for Speed, then you know what I'm talking about. But that game was kind of... everything was already predetermined in that game. Whereas this one, you pull into a garage, you can paint your car a weird color. You know? I mean, the difference in the customizations that you can do to your car in this one from the first one are just phenomenal. And this one has the, you know, like the free roam feature, which my son loves. So my son will, you know, throw this game in, and he'll just be like driving around the city in a car. You know, he doesn't care what it looks like, he doesn't care what he hits. He doesn't care if he's racing. He just likes driving around the city. I did own all of the Grand Theft Autos for the PS2. All of them that were released for the PS2. I did own them all, but I did give my PS2 to my son, and because my son was young, and I thought at the time he would be taking it home, I didn't want to send him home with a bunch of GTA games. I didn't think they were child appropriate, and he didn't play them often. I think he played them twice, and the first time I weren't really paying attention, and I hadn't played them. And then I sat down and played San Andreas. And I owned all of them, but never, like, played any of them. And I put in San Andreas, and I was like, yeah, I don't want him playing these games. And then it was like a few weeks later, and he was playing, I believe, Liberty City. And I was like, no, that's it, no. So I actually took all of them to GameStop and sold them to buy more PS2 games. Because I thought I would be sending him home with the system. And that didn't end up happening because of other complications. I still have it. But it is my son's system. I did give it to him, but he leaves it with me. So my son plays this a lot when he comes down. You know, we hook it up to the TV and he plays this. This is one of his favorites. I'm ready for this. It's a good game. And then I got this one. Need for Speed Most Wanted. This is a good game. This really is. I really like the, you know, customizations in this game. I do think that the gameplay itself is a little better than in Underground 2. I like the fact that, you know, you have to escape the police. I just like all of it. This is a good, you know, this is a good game. My son doesn't care for this game as much, but I like it. I paid full price for this. I was like, fuck that, that's a great game, I'm buying it. I also have Undercover, Need for Speed Undercover. I don't really care for this game at all. I ain't gonna lie. It's not as bad as Pro Street, but it's, yeah. If you notice, this is the last one I have, Carbon, which is one of my favorites out of the whole thing. Most Wanted and Carbon are the two that I play the most now. I have gotten through, like, to the end of Underground 2. But, I mean, you can always just play that game over and over and over again, and it changes every time. Just pick a different car. And, but I do like this one, and I like Most Wanted. This one, I don't really care for. And, as you know, as you can see, I don't have Hot Pursuit, and I don't have Pro Street. They suck. I bought both of them and thought, you know, I needed to have the complete Need for Speed series. I needed to have the, you know, the complete collection of them. So I bought them, and I'm thinking, you know, they're Need for Speed, they gotta be good. They suck. They suck so bad I just was like, I don't need those. I don't want them, just get rid of them, because I don't even want them. And so, that's why I don't have those. But, I do have the ones that are good. Undercover is not a terrible game, but it's definitely not one of my preferreds. Not, you know, like, if I'm going to play a Need for Speed game, I'm going to put in, you know, Carbon or Most Wanted. I'm not putting in Undercover, but it's an alright game. I mean, it's alright. If you like Need for Speed, then, you know, yeah. it's, you know, gotta be in the mood for it. So that's the PS2 collection. And I plan on growing this. I want to get more PS2 games. I do like the PS2, and I do like a lot of the games for it. I'd like to get the Final Fantasy games for it, you know, and some of the other, you know, titles for it. So hopefully at some point I'll be able to, like, go to, you know, a GameStop that's, like, just getting rid of all of their crap. I do know that a lot of them in our area aren't selling the PS2 games anymore, and they probably just already thrown them all away, which kind of really bums me out because that would have been a great time to go dumpster diving. But we do have flea market here, and you know, there's always Craigslist. You can check the games before you buy them. But that's my PS2 collection, and that's it for game consoles for me. So I have to sit here and think about the next video that I'm going to do, which I have no idea. And yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, rock on, geek on, and have a good one.